Oh, hello. Um, can you guys see me? I don't know what the fuck happened. I lost my internet. I lost my internet in its entirety. I did not become closed, but I did lose my internet and the stream went out, and therefore I'm on the backpack right now. The stream has crashed a few times when using Discord, just FYI. I know. I don't know what it is, but seemingly whenever I use Discord, this just keeps happening. I don't know. I am not closed. No, it's not hardware acceleration. My internet went out completely. Anyway, I'm back. That was Noah Colwyn and Brendan James, everybody. I'm giving them an outro. Thank you so much for coming on. To Noah Colwyn. Hold on. Coincidence that your internet cut up just as Trump signed the executive order Antifa making it a terrorist organization? Did they? Hold on here. Wait, they're still there. 1 second. I'm gonna call them up real quick and tell them to say their goodbyes. Hold on. 1 moment. Hello, are you guys still there? Hey, what's go? All right. I don't know
What's up?
I don't know how much my internet can hold right now, but hopefully it'll be fine for the duration. I just wanted to give you guys a proper outro. I got cooked.
It's all right.
Oh,
the
we
man
were
doesn't want
the
man doesn't want your fans listening to us. It's we get it. It happens all the time.
Yeah, no, this is unfortunately a common sight. It takes place a lot more frequently than you would think. American infrastructure, you know, I wish every day for some Chinese intervention. I wish every day for high-speed rail, and I wish every day for proper broadband coverage. One day, Xi Jinping, please save us. But
if you want to ever just make a big donation to blowback.show, you know, we have a lot of subscribers, but you know, there could be a state media sort of collaboration. I don't know. I just think about it.
China's 1 billion people. It's a lot of subscribers. We're capitalists too, you know.
Yeah.
Small business owners.
Trade Max with us, please. Trade Max with us. We love Labubu's. I love Labubu and Hachi Poo and all the other different variants. And also, once again, big shout out to the nation of Qatar. The nation of Qatar, the pearly jewel of the Gulf, the only resilient nation in the region. And what do you guys want to shout out before I let you go?
I'll say in addition to Black Season 6, which you can go listen to in its entirety now, ad-free at blowback.show, including a bunch of other bonus stuff. Also, I have a mini-series that's rolling out each week now with Felix Biederman over at Chapo Trap House. We're discussing Metal Gear Solid. I'm only going to be editing and producing. Thank you. I'm producing and co-hosting this current season. I don't know if I'll be on each one of them, but it's part of a new mini-series he wants to keep going called The Players Club. And it's been really fun. We're going to go through the whole Solid series. So if you feel like listening to that, sign up to Chapo if you're already a subscriber. Check it out. It's really fun. Much more casual than Blowback, but if you know Felix Biederman, you know that there's no one better to be covering the mysteries and the sort of mythology of Metal Gear than him. And Those are my two projects right now. But good luck, Hasan, on Twin Snakes. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'm playing it on the Steam Deck right now. I'm playing the OG version on the Steam Deck before I get into Twin Snakes. So we'll see. I'm replaying the OG version because literally because of the podcast that you guys did. By the way, it got me so hyped up that I was like, I gotta replay it.
There you go, everybody.
Good for Brendan. It's a good endorsement. They are really like, they're very cool, and I'm very proud of Brendan for it. The one thing I wanted to add would just be a little bit more detail on how to sign up and listen for the new season of Blowback, which we've just been discussing. So as Brendan said, you go to blowback.show, and there's a big button there that says subscribe. And when you subscribe, it's $25 on an annual basis. And what that gets you is a full ad-free catalog of all of our stuff. So that is dozens of episodes across 5 seasons: Iraq, the Cuban Revolution, the Korean War, Afghanistan wars, Rise of the Khmer Rouge in Indochina, Brendan Feet Picks. We also have a bunch of exclusives that come with the subscription, exclusive behind the scenes music stuff. There are merch codes for discounts, and we are freshening up the merch, so we'll have some new stuff there. Keep an eye out on that. And we are not ready to announce it just yet, but we do have some interesting stuff coming, and we'll be excited to tease that more when the time is right. But you only get all of this stuff right now at once if you go to blowback.show. You can listen to the first episode of the new season wherever you get your podcasts. But right now, if you want this story of Angola, if you want everything we've been talking about, you got to go to blowback.show, and you got to hit subscribe. And that's how we can then also continue to make this thing. So
do it.
If you like your podcast, you can keep it and keep on subscribing. Please.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on, guys. This is wonderful. All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Hasan, as always.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was Brandon and Noah, 2 friends of the show, 2 incredible guests. I was already annoyed with every single person that immediately were like, oh, you're not talking about autism and vaccines? Fuck this. I'm out. That was already frustrating to see 20,000 dipshits leave immediately. But then also on top of that, the internet went out. So I couldn't even get mad about that. It's just double fucked. Anyway, designating Antifa as a terrorist organization just came down as we were having that conversation. Let's take a look at the horrible future that is imminent, that is happening, that is unfolding in real time all around us. Let's take a look. Designating Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. New executive order that just came down. Section 1, Antifa is a terrorist threat. Antifa is a militarist, anarchist enterprise. Well, that's how you know they're not going to come after me, because I take showers and I am not an anarchist, okay? First, they came after autism. Now they're coming after Antifa. I don't even know what else they can do to hit me on this day, okay? Let me just say, First, they came for Jimmy Kimmel, and I did not speak out. First, they came for the pro-Palestinian protesters. I did not speak out. Then they came for Jimmy Kimmel, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't Jimmy Kimmel. Now they're coming after Antifa. Then they came after autism, and I didn't speak out. And now they're coming after Antifa, and there's no one else left to defend me, Antifa, the president of Antifa, the CEO. Sad day for Antifaism. Yeah. Kind of makes you want to down a couple Tylenol and go to bed. No, do not take Tylenol. We listened to the big, beautiful, bold president today, and he said, do not take Tylenol. You will be autistic. Okay? You do realize your internet likely went out due to your ISP? Yes, I do realize that, but thank you for saying that. This is my realization as well, but thank you for realizing. I hope you realize that I also realize it. Anyway, We haven't even talked about the anti-fascist protests that are taking place in Italy right now. I'll obviously get to that as well. I don't see anybody talking about it on CNN or any of the. Your USC cameo also almost has 1 million views, 100,000 likes. What is that?
Like you. Never forget that. Because when you lose your business or when you lose
This is
all
from
the money,
2023.
you don't go to prison. They don't kill you. You just become a worker. That's the biggest fear that a capital owner has, is being relegated to the working class, going back to becoming a worker. That is the biggest risk that they're taking. So you as a worker literally look at that situation and go, oh, my lord, but they're taking risks, my lord. He deserves the profits of my labor. I myself am not taking a risk. Well, no, you are. Because when that business goes under, you lose your job too. Your starting position as a worker at that business is already literally the end point that those capital owners, your bosses, are afraid of becoming. That is their biggest fear. So never forget.
What are they teaching these children, man? Anyway, I don't know where to begin. We'll do the Antifa designation in a little bit. Hold on. But before we do that, Trump urges Attorney General Bondi to investigate political enemies. We're going to continue with our news
pressure
coverage.
on his Attorney General Pam Bondi, publicly calling on her to use the power of the Justice Department to prosecute his political enemies. The president, writing this message on social media, addressed to Pam, insisting nothing is being done, adding, "We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. Justice must be served now."
We have to act fast. If they're not guilty, that's fine. If they are guilty or if they should be charged, they should be charged.
President Trump calling for cases against Democratic Senator Adam Schiff, former FBI Director James Comey, and New York Attorney General Letitia James. Just days ago, he forced down a top federal prosecutor whose office did not find any evidence to back up allegations that James committed mortgage fraud after months of investigating. President Trump now nominating Lindsay Halligan, an attorney from his personal legal team who mostly handled insurance claims, to fill that role. She has never served as a prosecutor. As the president presses for legal action against his adversaries, ABC News has learned his Justice Department closed an investigation into border czar Tom Homan for allegedly taking $50,000 in an FBI sting operation. In the alleged encounter, which sources say was recorded by undercover agents, Homan allegedly accepting a bag of cash while agreeing to potentially help.
It's pretty simple. You see, if you are a part of the administration, or if you are, if you're acting out the demands of or the wishes of the administration, like if you did fucking, if you fucking did January 6th, for example, you're good. Okay. Your prediction was right, by the way. Yeah, Sinclair Broadcast Group, which owns 31 ABC affiliates, says it will continue to preempt Jimmy Kimmel's show. Beginning Tuesday night, Sinclair will be preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live across our ABC affiliate stations and replacing it with news programming. Discussions with ABC are ongoing as we evaluate the show's potential return. Yeah, I told you, these guys are already right-wing, and they love being a part of the Trump admin's network of influence. So they are not... They're willing to take this like symbolic stance against big Disney. Everyone's a goddamn chud.
Help secure government contracts if Trump won the election. ABC News has reached out to Homan for comment, but has not heard back. The White House says the administration found no evidence of illegal activity, but Democrats calling it hypocrisy. Some also citing the president's pardons of the January 6 rioters.
There are just two standards of justice now in this country. If you are a friend of the president, a loyalist of the president, you can get away with nearly anything, including beating the hell out of police officers. But if you are an opponent of the president, you may find yourself in jail.
In recent days, the president has also said press coverage that is critical of his administration should be illegal. It comes as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has now unveiled new restrictions for press at the Pentagon, forcing reporters to either pledge that they will not gather or use any information that has not been formally authorized for release, or risk losing their credential to cover the military. This move is unprecedented. The National Press Club calling the policy a direct assault on independent journalism.
Okay, Rachel, thanks. Let's bring in our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. We've overused that word unprecedented. It's hard to overstate how stunning a move the president's, what he's done with Attorney General Pam Bondi. Richard Nixon was impeached for corrupting the Justice Department. He's saying it out loud.
Right. So, look, there have been previous allegations of politicization of the Department of Justice, right? Some people said that Bill Barr's Attorney General role there was politicized. Others have said Merrick Garland was politicized when he was the Attorney General. What makes this different is you have the president effectively trying to usurp the role of the Attorney General. And in particular here, you have cases that have been investigated. I mean, I've heard some people saying publicly, well, what's wrong? We should have an investigation. There has been an investigation. The president doesn't like the results of the investigation. And as a result, he is now moving in to put in a new U.S. attorney in Virginia. That's the part about that makes this unprecedented. So when people say, we've heard allegations of politicization before, you need to focus on why this is different, because it is the president stepping in this role, not an allegation about what the attorney general is doing.
And you couple it with, we just did this story on Tom Homan, the head of ICE, under investigation for taking cash on tape with the FBI, and they're saying there's nothing to see here.
Right. Look, that's a little more nuanced in the sense that we don't know exactly what they have, and the question of, okay, what was exactly the promise, what was the deal, et cetera. You can debate. We don't know the exact details. What we do know, it seems, is that the investigation into Jim Comey and into Letitia James in Virginia didn't get the president the result that he wanted. And now he's angry. And by the way, part of the reason may be that he's talking now is because the statute of limitations is about to expire in the Comey case. So this becomes a combination of legal and political, but no doubt it is different than other stuff that we've heard about before.
We'll be watching to see if this new U.S. attorney does indeed try to prosecute Jim Comey.
Right, but then there are protections in place, right? I mean, you do have grand juries, you do have judges, and as we've seen in the past, you have juries who may end up acquitting.
Dan Abrams, thanks very much.
The pressure on Israel mounting, with the UK, Australia, Canada, and Portugal formally announcing the recognition of a Palestinian state, a move opposed by the U.S. and Israel.
In the face of the growing horror in the Middle East.
Sorry. I identified what the problem is for it was, as predicted, it was the fucking ISP. No, I did not get raptured. It was Tylenol, yeah. It was not Murat. It was not Tylenol. It was not the vaccine. I have not been I'm not close. Oh, God. Sometimes, everyone becoming closed is not the worst outcome, considering how awful everything actually is. Listen. Donald Trump today linked paracetamol and acetaminophen to, if used during pregnancy, to autism. He also claimed, additionally, that babies get a lot of liquid in the form of vaccines at an early age. And that's also what causes them to be autistic. Donald Trump then turned around and peddled a leukemia chemotherapy cure, a chemotherapy cure for cancer as a way to potentially cure autism, as though autism itself is this disease. I don't even know where to fucking begin with how insane this administration is. Half the stuff that they do doesn't even make like financial sense. No, amino acid that helps with the intake, a detoxifying agent for chemotherapy. Sorry. It isn't a cancer cure, but it's paired with other cancer drugs to keep non-cancer cells alive while metabolic pathways in others are blocked. I guess we got Jimmy Kimmel back, though. So there's that. Isn't all of this inherently unsustainable? It is. But what are you supposed to do but sustain? It's not like we live in a different planet. It's not like people could just like pack up and leave. When things are unsustainable, you have no other option but to sustain. Right? I don't know. Jimmy Kimmel is not expected to have made any compromise to bring us back his show following the huge backlash that Disney got. Jimmy will say what Jimmy wants to, says one source about his show tomorrow. Trump has not responded to that so far. And the update on this is that Sinclair Broadcasting Group is still refusing to play Jimmy Kimmel's show when it restarts tomorrow. And the broadcaster had previously demanded an apology from Kimmel and a donation to Turning Point USA for them to broadcast the show. So there's that. The Department of Justice is doing Gotta Catch 'Em All like Ash Ketchum.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my...
Gross. I can't watch that, man. That's so fucking insane. I mean, how gross. Ugh. Incompetent fascists. And they're so goddamn lame. They're lame-ass fascists. What else can you say? Anyway, let's get back to European powers. Several countries are formally recognizing Palestine as a state. This is a conditional statehood recognition, as intended, as announced ahead of time. Of course, this is still frustrating Israel because they are hell-bent on death and destruction and do not know what no means. They've never heard it. They don't understand it. They think it's anti-Semitism. They think it's Hamas.
We are acting to keep alive the possibility of peace and a two-state solution.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu unequivocal in his rejection, saying there will be no Palestinian state, adding bluntly, it will not happen. President Trump, one of Netanyahu's strongest allies, made clear last week in a meeting with Britain's Prime Minister he opposes such a move.
The question of recognition needs to be seen, and so it's part of that overall package.
So I have a disagreement with the Prime Minister on that score. Okay? One of our few disagreements, actually.
Israel already planning to retaliate. Our Tom Sufi Burridge reporting from a Palestinian village in the West Bank.
Look at that Jewish settlement on the hillside opposite. Israel is planning to fast-track a huge construction project. It would wipe out communities like this one, but it would go right to the east, thousands of homes, and it would effectively split the West Bank in two.
The move comes in the midst of the Israeli military's powerful new ground assault in Gaza City, forcing more than 500,000 people to flee. Families of the Israeli hostages seized in the October 7th massacre nearly 2 years ago say Palestine should not be recognized as a state without ending the war and bringing home their loved ones. Netanyahu says recognizing a Palestinian state after the October 7th massacre would be giving a huge reward to terrorism. Deborah?
Martha, so many.
Chauntine. Italy cautious on Palestinian recognition as protests grow. By the way, this is a nationwide general strike that has been struck in the state of Italy. For those of you who don't understand, there is a massive, massive initiative in Italy. There are countries in Europe. These are the last remaining strongholds for Israel's support, and they're quite significant, okay? Remember, Western nations are the only countries that still defend Israel unconditionally. They offer material support, they offer political cover, but the populations are very frustrated, okay? The populations want no more. They recognize that Israel is doing a genocide, just as the UN has declared it as well. And I think we are reaching a boiling point. I think we are officially reaching a boiling point with respect to how much Western populations will cave, capitulate, and concede to Israel's demands. I think we're there. Okay, it's becoming somewhat of a chain reaction, yes. Now, of course, the only country that will hold out, the last holdout will always be America and also Germany. But once Germany falls, it's over. The European continent has fallen. The European continent will no longer support Israel. And even if it's a symbolic gesture, the reason why I do not shit on this kind of stuff as much is because even symbolic gestures are meaningful because it expands the permission structure greatly. Okay? America and Germany and all of the other, ironically enough, Axis and Axis adjacent powers are the last holdouts. And it's not even the populations that are the holdouts here. It's the actual governments that are the holdouts. Italy being one of the countries that is refusing to move the needle. Italians, however, are very much against this. The Italian government's lack of recognition does not change the reality that the Italian population is very frustrated. Italy has secured a general strike for Palestine. Things have been boiling for a while throughout this year. Maria Luisa Fontapie reports, throughout this year, but especially since the summer, signs of support for Gaza have been everywhere from big cities to remote rural villages with just hundreds of residents. Let me say that that all the support I've witnessed this year insofar has been peaceful. People across generations / class, even some mainstream TV presenters openly and genuinely stood in solidarity with the people of Gaza. Yet inaction prevailed in politics. Right-wing conservatives have been locked into the Hamas equals terrorist narrative. Center-left stances on Israel-Palestine was also ambiguous, to say the least. Result was the deepening of a fracture between society and the political class, and anti-establishment feelings on the rise, a long-standing trait of this country. And this is not just exclusive to Italy. This is what I kept repeating over and over again. To the Western leadership, to the Western leaders of liberal capitalist democracies, if you want to maintain the aesthetics of a liberal capitalist democracy that defends human rights, you cannot continue unconditionally supporting Israel, because the populations are not only going to, one, at first, question this allegiance that you have to Israel, But then they're going to start questioning whether there is a real democratic process at all. Now, of course, there is no real democratic process. Let's be real, especially as it pertains to foreign policy. These are NATO countries, obviously. So they are completely under the directive of the United States and are mere vassals for imperial interests. Having said that, obviously that is going to be a very frustrating reality to come to terms with for the Italian population, for the German population, for the French population, and the population of every European capital. And therefore, they are going to inevitably revolt. This is a much more peaceful outcome. This is a much more peaceful demand to the European leadership to take action on their own, to sever the ties that they have with the United States of America. And that is precisely the reason why many of the European countries are at least offering aesthetic conciliatory messages to the pro-Palestinian crowd. State recognition, conditional state recognition is obviously one of those instances. But of course, any kind of capitulation or any kind of listening to the demands of the crowd here, democracy taking place, is going to greatly expand the permission structure for more and more reasonable demands to also be heard. We are there now. All things considered, today's strike was not only about Palestine. In Italy and as elsewhere in Europe, the conflict in Gaza has become a conflict within Europe's own societies, exposing pre-existing and unresolved tensions, and notably that between society and political class. Maloney's holding back support for EU suspension of trade and sanctions on Israel, deepening the fracture. In my view, this was more of a gesture of loyalty to the global right-wing camp, and Trump in particular, rather than a statement of her support for Netanyahu. Unlike France and other EU states, Italy has not hinted at recognizing Palestine, yet Rome kept engaging with Arab states, Jordan and Gulf states in particular, and recently issued a bolder statement jointly with Saudi Arabia. The joint statement with KSA was a good start, yet after today's strike and international resonance it had, the Maloney government may have to do something more, especially if wanting to preserve the image of a stable Italy with strong domestic consensus for the government in charge. UNGA, the General Assembly, should be an opportunity for Italy to define its stance. If unwilling to recognize Palestine, Italy should at least define clear steps for its contribution to an end to the conflict. Hiding behind the two-state solution narrative would no longer work. Maloney's temptation may be that of demonizing the strike and all movements in solidarity with Gaza as the violent left. Right-wing and Maloney's coalition partner, Matteo Salvini, is openly pushing for that. I don't suspect this will work. This is an issue that has transcended beyond political allegiances, ideology. This is an issue of right and wrong. This is a division in society between governments and its citizens. Regardless of how much you like the government, regardless of how much you feel as though the government has your best interest in mind, you still recognize what's going on in Palestine. You still recognize what's going on in Gaza, and you demand your government take action. This is something that can be seen with the majority of the Republican Party even, okay? Especially the younger generations within the Republican Party. Changes here. Politicians, of course, are refusing to listen to these totally just demands. There were numerous clips that I want to show you, by the way, but Giorgia Meloni, outrageous images coming from Milan, self-proclaimed pro-Palestine individuals, self-proclaimed Antifa members, self-proclaimed pacifists who wreak havoc on the train station and provoke clashes with law enforcement. Violence and destruction have nothing to do with solidarity, and that will not change a single thing in the lives of the people in Gaza. She's so fucking aggro that she can't even get it out right. Protests change nothing for people in Gaza. Yeah, except they will change something for people in Gaza if you, as the government, listen to the demands being made by the protesters. I'm proud for Spain for its stance right now, even though it took a while. They've split off a bunch of ties and also have been actively pushing for a boycott. They've prevented the Israeli team from participating in the recent cycling tournament and are now refusing to participate in Eurovision if Israel's included. There's also going to be a FIFA vote that comes down as well. I think Israel cooked itself by bombing Qatar, because Qatar still, regardless of his Gulf nation state status, has tremendous connections to European capitals. It is a ridiculous thing to do. It was an unimaginable flub by Israel. Okay, making an enemy of Qatar in this way is going to inevitably harm your charm offensive that you might have to do once the fucking genocide is over, even, right? If that ever happens. And now UEFA is going to hold a vote. Times of Israel doing a quick check, verifying whether or not I'm a real one. Here, I verified that I'm a human. Times of Israel doesn't let me go on its website. Israel said scrambling to prevent Tuesday vote from expelling country from European soccer, which is going to happen, by the way. Once again, this is Israel's propaganda machine is doing its part on the football field. Rumors over UEFA vote this Tuesday are false. No such meeting is scheduled. The next one's on December 3rd. Here's what you need to know about the smear campaign around Qatar, UEFA, and calls to suspend Israel. Over the weekend, Israel Hayom claimed Qatar is lobbying UEFA to ban Israel after his latest attacks. Qatar isn't a UEFA member. A close source described it as a smear campaign. Blame Qatar so everyone ignores the glaring facts. Close sources confirm that most football associations want Israel out. Yeah, it's not just Qatar. Also, Qatar itself doesn't have to be a fucking UEFA member to have tremendous influence over global soccer, which it does. It's a very wealthy nation, just like Saudi Arabia has a lot of influence over this stuff. These guys are major investors in soccer clubs. These guys are major investors in international football in general. They're also major investors in European capitals too. So it's not a Qatar versus Israel situation, but it certainly doesn't fucking help that they've made a more consequential enemy out of Israel. Clarification, UEFA is under intense pressure to hold a vote this coming week on expelling Israel from all of its events. Legal advisor at Palestine Football Association says there is no vote on Tuesday, chalking up reports to Israeli propaganda. In any case, it seems there isn't a vote, but there is definitely real pressure to hold a vote. There is real pressure to hold a vote. It's the same with Eurovision. It's the same with everything else that Israel utilizes in its charm offensive. Whitewashing its genocide, whitewashing its war crimes, doing everything in its power to make it seem as though they're just a normal country. Okay? They are not. Israel should have gotten the Russia treatment expeditiously, but it didn't because of 100 years of propaganda and influence networks that they've designed at the behest of this very moment, designed so that when this moment comes, they are not punished. And yet, you can't stop people's discontent. You can't stop people's anger. You can't stop people from protesting, no matter how hard these Western nations are trying. And this isolation is inevitably going to kick in, okay? This isolation, Israel being a pariah state that it deserves the status of, by the way. It absolutely deserves it for far less than what they've done over the course of the last 2 years, for sure. But it absolutely is worthy of it now. This isolation will, hopefully, cause Zionists to recalculate their expansionist, exterminationist ambitions in the same way that apartheid South Africa backers recalculated their own ambitions of maintaining an apartheid structure in South Africa. But yes, bye-bye, Israel, bye-bye, is what I will say today and what I will say every other day as well. Speaking of which, let's take a look at what Italy is saying and doing.
Chanting, "We're all Palestinians and stop genocide." Thousands of Italians gathered in central Rome in just one of the grassroots protests, blockades, or strike actions.
Brings a fucking tear to my eye, man. What an incredible sight. What an incredible fucking sight, dude. This is the beauty of labor, okay? Remember, this is the beauty of labor militancy. This is the beauty of union organizing. Unions have so much power, not only in making demands that immediately improve their standing in the workplace, but also demands from the government when the government refuses to act. Okay? It took 2 years. I cannot believe I'm seeing this. I cannot believe I am seeing this with my own 2 fucking eyes. Oh my Lord.
Taking place in 80 cities across Italy Monday, denouncing the war in Gaza. Transport services and a number of schools faced disruption amid the strikes, and striking dock workers blocked access roads to ports in Livorno and Genoa.
Why am I here? Because we must be here. Because we're human beings, and that's what matters.
How do you feel? How do you maintain hope? I'm feeling very black-pilled lately. If you can't see hope in this situation, then you have not been aware of the overall lack of interest in this cause for 80 plus years from Western Europe. Okay? That's it. As someone who has been a political commentator for like 12 years now, in my professional career, I never thought that I would ever see the day when these things would happen. Okay? This is an opportunity for hope. This is things changing in a totally different direction. What a spectacular show of force. Incredible. And before you say at what price, though, and I totally understand that, but it's a disservice to those who have been martyred by the state of Israel, the criminal entity of Israel. And it is a disservice to those who remain if you get nihilistic, if you get pessimistic in this moment. Yeah, as Nelson Mandela said, it always seems impossible until it is done.
Beyond party politics, we must remain human. How can anyone remain indifferent to what's happening?
The Palestinian people continue to teach us yet another lesson in dignity and resilience. We learn from them and try to do our part.
Protesters say they're seeking to prevent Italy from being used as a staging post for the transfer of arms and other supplies to Israel. They're also calling for sanctions against Israel.
I think that civil society, students, workers, teachers, ordinary people right now are standing in for an institutional political system which even at the European level is timid, to say the least.
Transport Minister Matteo Salvini played down the impact of the protests that he said were organised by a far-left union group. Giorgia Meloni's right-wing Italian government is a traditional supporter of Israel, and although unease has grown over its relentless military campaign in Gaza, Rome has expressed reluctance about implementing the European Union's proposed trade sanctions. And while the majority of European countries now recognise a Palestinian state...
Dude, this is, I mean... Oh my God, how amazing. How fucking amazing. I can't imagine what that world would look like if the European Union completely implemented trade sanctions. Oh my Lord. Oh, that's too much hope. I'm going to overdose on copium and hopium. Oh. These things take time. Okay, these things take time. It takes a lot for people to get out and protest like this, okay? This is a logistical nightmare when you think about it. And the fact that they pulled it off is spectacular, okay? Once the European continent makes a decision like this, it makes it even more difficult for America to continue along on this trajectory. You might not want to cover it like this, but the match versus Israel and the viral clips of the reaction from players and Gattuso. Oh, yeah. I mean, I saw all this. Yes. Educate your players. He says, shut up. Fuck you. Shut up. After the match helped bring the issue to the regular people that weren't aware but found out after them, it helped a bit in the end like this. No, I think people were aware. This just also pissed them off even further. Yeah, Italy players cursed at us the whole time. Israel footballers say. Man, it's just amazing, dude. It's amazing. This is another state broadcaster. Italy state-owned TG3 broke from the government line, openly supporting the September 22nd Gaza strike and denouncing civilian killings and mass deportations by Israel. The move marks a rare moment of editorial independence for RAI, as the right-wing pro-Israel government usually controls its messaging and resists EU pressure on Gaza. To say goodbye, we read you a press release from our CDR. The journalists of TG3 share the reasons for today's general outcry in support of the population in Gaza, subjected to military occupation, a daily massacre of civilians, health workers and journalists, and mass deportations carried out by the Israeli government. But we clearly dissociate ourselves from today's violence. The choice to work on this day was due to the need to give visibility to the ongoing demonstrations. The 12 p.m. edition of TG3 was canceled due to the strike by the technicians in the Milan studio. Our support and solidarity goes to them and their non-journal colleagues in the editorial staff who joined the strike. Now the line goes. There was another one. There was like a cooking show. There was also a cooking show as well that did the same as well. This is why labor unions are so important and so fucking powerful, chat. This is why they don't want you to unionize, okay? Remember, because demonstrations aside, labor unions still have the power to strike at the heart of capital. Work stoppages mean money, okay? Work stoppages mean your boss is not making money. Capital owners are no longer able to generate profits. That's a huge problem for them. And it's a problem that they usually will try to solve militarily. That's the reason why they will go after work stoppages aggressively. Mexico had a general strike with a coalition of 300 unions. The Palestinian Solidarity Movement and socialist parties rallied 2 days ago in Mexico City, and today Claudia calls it a genocide. Claudia Sheinbaum, the first time we recognize an ambassador to Palestine is with our government, and all the positioning and agreement with the international community to stop this genocide in Gaza. There's more work to be done for Claudia, for the record. Okay? Because Mexico is a trading partner to Israel. See, in her latest report, Francesca Albanese urges countries to sever all trade and financial ties with Israel, calling for a complete withdrawal of international support for what she describes an economy of genocide. Yet UN trade data from the first 5 months of 2025 tells a different story. Only 51 of Israel's 151 trade partners reduced total trade compared to the same period in 2024. We visualize the top 20. The call for economic sanctions has never been more urgent, but most governments continue to look the other way. Don't be misled. Of course, outside of the European Union, which experienced an increase in trade with Israel by 6%, the USA increased by 1%, China increased by 15%. Okay? Mexico still trades with Israel, even though it's down 13%. And Brazil is down 18%. Turkey down 60%. And Russia down 11%. Spain has postponed embargo to Israel. You've been PSO'd. Wait, what? I thought Spain canceled $700 million Israeli arms deal. Is that not correct? Is this incorrect? Spain cancels 700 million euro Israeli arms deal. The decision follows Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's pledge to enshrine a law a ban on arms trade with Israel over its offensive in Gaza. I mean, it should be beyond that. They should be cutting off all ties, but PSO'd is a meme about getting punked by the Socialist Party. PSO'd is when the PM just lies. It has been postponed, the law that established the embargo, not the cancellation. Anyway, there's always more work to be done, okay? There's always more work to be done. Make no fucking mistake. I'm not going to sit here. Chatter said they were wrong. Alhamdulillah, I was wrong. Okay. Anyway, listen. There's always more work to be done, but these are good things, okay? These are initiatives that are moving us in the right direction.
And it is now...
Even Canada's recognition of the state of Palestine, you should be somewhat not skeptical, but you should be critical of this because while if this was happening, I don't know, 10 years ago, I would welcome this as an unimaginable W. The reason why they're doing it right now is very cynical. I suspect the reason why they're doing this is because they assume the people are going to stop making demands so that, they can feel as though they've gotten something out of this protest, not realizing that this actually gives people more courage to continue pushing. And it should give you more courage to continue pushing because this means that they are not oblivious to what you're saying. This means that they hear your cries. Okay? It means the work is unfinished and you have to keep going.
The avowed policy of the current Israeli government that there will be, and I quote, no Palestinian state. In this context, Canada recognizes the state of Palestine and we offer our full partnership in building the promise of a peaceful future for both the state of Palestine.
France also officially recognizes the state of Palestine.
Que la France reconnaît aujourd'hui l'État de Palestine.
I declare that today, France recognizes the state of Palestine.
This was a major moment. France leading the way at the UN, recognizing Palestine. Britain's Foreign Secretary here too to witness it, after her Prime Minister did the same over the weekend. In London, cheers as Palestine's flag went up over its new embassy.
Canada says only as a Zionist state, though. Chatters, remember, this is fucking bullshit, okay? You think I don't know that? I do, but think. What are you doing? Stop barking. I know this is like two states bullshit. It's like maximum 22% of the actual Palestinian state that will be recognized as an internationally recognized state of Palestine. It is basically the de facto Bantustan structure that Israel has created. But it doesn't matter because it moves the conversation further in the appropriate direction. It means that these states are recognizing the discontent and trying to find a pressure valve. Okay? That's it. And in the process, Benjamin Netanyahu is also openly saying this is not going to happen. Okay? Understand that this is an issue of consequence for many different reasons, because it basically puts Israel's hypocrisy in naked display. You are aware of this. Your father and your mother and your uncle is not aware of this. They still say dumb fuck bullshit like, oh yeah, well, Israel would release the hostages, or Israel would stop fighting if the hostages were released. Like, all of this stuff plays a role in your advocacy. Please stop fucking slapping a gift horse rather than even looking at it in the mouth, okay? Israel has a very sophisticated propaganda apparatus. Many of your dumb fuck boomer ass parents have been blinded by said propaganda apparatus. This is an opportunity for you to say, hey, the reason why they're doing this is because a lot of people are frustrated because they see the genocide that's taking place. The reason why it's good that the UN, in spite of not having any fucking serious power, openly recognizing Israel as first an apartheid state and then also doing a genocide is for this reason. It's for you, so that you can use this. You can use this to keep fomenting more discontent. You can use this to keep putting pressure on your respective governments. Amazing to watch the Hasbara industry going into complete meltdown over growing international recognition of something they told us for so long that Israel accepted, but Palestinians rejected. A Palestinian state alongside Israel, and Netanyahu making it clear, in case anyone needed the reminder, that he opposed the Palestinian state, has always done so and worked to prevent it and torpedo peace. Like, think about all of the tireless hours that I had to fucking deal with Hasbara dipshits that kept coming in here and being like, Palestinians were no partner in peace. Meanwhile, you got Benjamin Netanyahu being like, I've never let a Palestinian state exist. That was my fucking shit, and I never will. They're just saying it out loud. That's huge. Okay, these things do matter. Honesty in this process matters. Every single day that passes, we are arriving closer and closer at convincing people that there is no, like, Israel is the spoiler here, okay? And the more people you convince, the more people that you are able to bring on to protest, the more pressure you create. And the more pressure you fucking create, the more you cause this government, specifically the United States of America, the only country on the planet that fucking matters in this equation, to recalculate and reconsider their allegiance to the state of Israel. But yes, Australia, Portugal, France, all of these countries are now recognizing Palestinian statehood, with 36 that remain that have refused to recognize it. Hasanabi, you are a cucklord, says PVC Pipe 1629. XQC has recognized Palestinian statehood. What are you doing, juicer? Die. Is this an Israeli juicer? It's gotta be, right? Yeah, here's the Israeli state talking about the discontent.
Andrew, the diplomatic pressure on Israel is at its highest in years, if not decades. You have argued that this is one of the costs of continuing fighting the war in Gaza, and you have said that those costs are now outweighing the benefits. Can you explain that for us?
Well, I think so. One of the key issues of this recognition of Palestine is that it opens a number of extra sanctions and extra issues against Israel. And actually, I would contend that isolation on the international stage is more of a threat to Israel than Hamas are at this moment in time. We've just heard from Yaakov how degraded Hamas is, how challenging they're finding it to launch anything remotely of any scale against Israel over the border. And yet we're seeing now Israel being kicked out of international competitions. UEFA are meeting tomorrow to talk about kicking Maccabi Tel Aviv out of one of the European Cups. And we're going to see that hunting of Israelis abroad by organisations like the Hein Rajab Foundation, who are seeking out Israelis on holiday and getting them charged.
Oh, dude, what? The Hein Rajab Foundation is actually doing justice, is making it an uncertain environment for people who go and do fucking genocide and then try to go to Europe or try to go to other countries and enjoy the holiday. Oh no. I have an idea. Don't do fucking genocide. I know it's crazy. Not even a crumb, not even a little bit. You might say, well, sir, can I do just a little bit of genocide, right? Like a fucking little bit. Just a little bit of genocide, yeah? No. Yeah, nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday to the motherfucking Hague, bitch. God damn.
For war crimes. You know, this is only going to get worse and worse. And that, I would contend, makes Israel far less safe than anything Hamas can currently muster.
Anyway. Kaya, place. What is this? A morsel of genocide, my good sir. Place. Are you looking at that bed like it's lava? Huh? Oh, you're bored. Exporters, don't worry about Israel becoming a pariah as images of the destruction in Gaza spark outrage globally. Some European customers are asking Israeli defense firms to keep talks about future orders under wraps. It don't matter, man. The very fact that it's under wraps today, it's gone tomorrow. The very fact that they can't even openly fucking entertain getting Elbit Systems contracts and shit is good. It's a positive. When Elbit Systems has to close shop in their Birmingham facility, which moved to Birmingham to begin with. Okay, Piker. Okay. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Okay? Anyway, the host of the usually apolitical, very popular cooking show on Italian public television on the conservative and pro-government channel Rai 1 expressing solidarity with today's general strike for Palestine. I must tell the truth. It is impossible to remain indifferent to what is happening in Gaza. As Cardinal Pizzaballa rightfully said, if you close your eyes to what is happening, you lose your humanity. Because objectively, it is a massacre. And remaining inert in the face of this reality ultimately means losing your humanity. This is not about politics, man. Genocide is genocide, okay? It's apolitical. Apolitical motherfuckers can still say, yeah, it's pretty abhorrent. It's morally repugnant. It's that simple.
This is undoubtedly historic. But will it make any difference? Israel says it will retaliate against any further recognition of a Palestinian state. But Britain, like others, says it helps the chances of peace because it gives Palestinians something to hope for.
Before the debate, sponsored by both France and Saudi Arabia, Israel denounced it as a circus.
This is a theater.
Yeah, Danny Danon. What's next? Do you bring back the child quilt that I worked very hard to make sure the Hamas quilt of the children, terror children, mind you, were no longer in the halls of the UN? The UN is united for Hamas. No more terror quilt here. This is a Hamas meeting.
Know that it's detached from reality. While Macron and his colleagues will celebrate 48 hostages who will stay in captivity.
Shut up! You fucking bitch. You are the reason why they're in captivity. Also, 10,000 Palestinians are in captivity under Israeli detention, you fucking asshole. Fuck you. Oh my God. They literally single file lined up thousands of Palestinians from their own internationally recognized land and marched them out in the West Bank. Fucking asshole.
In Gaza.
But Britain and others say Israel has brought this upon itself by working to...
They do not let us do genocide, they say, in Gaza. You must not care about the 48 hostages. Do you not care about the hostages? I will bomb the hostages myself. If you keep speaking like this, why you not love Israel? Why you not love Israel? Oh.
Reverse any chance of a Palestinian state being created, and with it a two-state peaceful solution to the conflict. Tolerating relentless Jewish settler outrages on the West Bank that have killed Palestinians and torched their homes and businesses, often with the apparent connivance of the Israeli military, and refusing to accept a ceasefire in Gaza, where tens of thousands of civilians have been killed. Irish Taoiseach Michael Martin fears recognising Palestine might not be enough.
We consistently
you think?
condemn the atrocities of Hamas on October the 7th, the slaughter of innocents there, and the decision to take hostages, which is a war crime, and the failure to release hostages. And Hamas should release all of the hostages. But this phase of the war, it's a war against a people. It has all the hallmarks of an ethnic cleansing.
Donald Trump is supporting his ally Israel, disagreeing on the matter with Prime Minister Keir Starmer when they met in Chequers last week. The White House condemned today's recognition of Palestine as a backwards move.
He spoke about that in the UK, standing right next to his friend, Prime Minister Starmer. And he feels this does not do anything to release the hostages, which is the primary goal right now in Gaza, does nothing to end this conflict and bring this war to a close. And frankly, he believes it's a reward to Hamas.
President Trump speaks here tomorrow. But whatever he says, the number of countries opposing the idea of a Palestinian state at the UN is dwindling, whether Israel likes it or not. Dominic Waghorn, Sky News, New York.
Near the Gaza border.
Majority of Israelis oppose the two-state solution. Well, they can suck it up and suck my dick too. Yeah, well, I have another option. It's called a one-state solution, okay? Where every Palestinian is offered reparations and full-blown citizenship. How about that? That's what I want. Maybe that's what they want too. Just kidding. I don't give a fuck what they want. They can suck my dick, dude. Oh no. The majority of the Nazi state of Israel oppose giving any recognition to their primary victims. Oh my God. How shocking. Tried talking to my dad, started telling me how in their religion of Islam, they believe in the eradication of Jews. Yeah, there's gonna be fucking unhinged, insane statements, okay? It is what it is. Oh. You covered one of those yesterday? Yeah, I did. Yeah. Love when my civil rights group says recognizing that Palestinian state somehow menaces global Jewish communities. A total normal thing for a nominally anti-racist nonprofit to say, and not the framing of a pro-Israel lobbying organization. Whenever they say this is rewarding terrorism, by the way, I am. It's hard for me not to remember when early Zionist brigades did literally terrorism, okay? the bombing of the King David Hotel comes to mind. And they were rewarded with a state. So I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, every accusation is a confession makes so much sense, except in this circumstance, these guys aren't doing terrorism. They're doing self-defense. The fuck do you mean? They're responding to 75 years of the time of apartheid. Get the fuck out of here. Ay, ay, ay. All right. That's all I got. I'll do the designation of Antifa and shit tomorrow, okay? Once again, that's all I got for today. I'm gonna tell you guys, tomorrow we might be closed. We might be getting sucked. It's Rapture Harponzo bean time. Okay? But if it doesn't happen, I'll be here. Even if it happens, I'll still be here because my ass ain't getting sucked. You know what I mean? Let's be fucking real. My ass is not getting harponzoed.
Hey, I'm just doing this to sound like Bo Burnham in the beginning.
But we'll see.
I'm chillaxing
Peace,
the chat,
everybody.
so, hi.
Love you all. Free Palestine. Fuck Israel. Israel can suck my dick. Peace.
Stunning lo-fi introduction, starting off the day. All the chatter's trickling in, I'll sell people hay. Sunny Los Angeles, California, says Hasan. The stun lock to the stun lock to the topic that's just begun. There he is again, Hasan is streaming. Hasan is streaming. There he is again. Hasan is streaming. Hasan is streaming. Reviewing the P.O. box, Uncle Euchre's face. Sudden discord agitprop, great names take on race. Tiny Bernie Sanders, LGBTQ Air Force. The whole left at your fingertips, and Anye out your door. The H3 Crowder debate, the Young Turks online show. 3 full fucking years of this, and plenty more to go. 90-day fiancé talks of champagne bourgeoisie. A Trump rally live reaction, a mass riot in DC. There he is again, Hasan is streaming. Hasan is streaming. There he is again, Hasan is streaming. Hasan is streaming. Reading live stream fail comments, Austin show chat advice. In all the ways the right-wing pipeline can suck you in online. JCS react, Lord frame gets broken, cover blown. A full-blown mass pandemic, months of streaming in your home. Total radicalization coming out to find. The system you were taught to trust in was broken the whole time. All these daily streams, whether big or whether small, have helped me in so many find some meaning through it all. So there